People often misunderstand those who think and act outside the box. Whether it's an idea, a way of working, or even a way of life, those who don't follow the conventional path often find themselves facing skepticism, doubt, and judgment. Society has a tendency to be uncomfortable with the unknown, and those who step outside of the expected norms are frequently labeled as mad, crazy, or eccentric. These terms are often hurled by those who cannot comprehend the depths of creativity or innovation that is behind unconventional thinking. However, what is considered madness by some can be the fertile ground for extraordinary breakthroughs and advancements. If you've ever felt like your vision, your ideas, or your way of doing things was misunderstood, know that you are not alone. Many great innovators, artists, and visionaries throughout history were once thought to be out of their minds, only to have their ideas and actions later seen as groundbreaking. Your madness was a calculated strategy that others couldn't see at first. What appeared to be irrational, erratic, or impulsive behavior was in reality a deeply thoughtful and deliberate strategy. It was a way of thinking ahead of its time, a vision that didn't conform to the status quo. People around you may not have understood your decisions at the time. They may have seen your actions as impulsive, reckless, or confusing. But your strategy, your choices, and your way of thinking were all part of a grand plan that was meant to disrupt norms, challenge existing paradigms, and ultimately create something new. Your vision was far from chaotic. It was intentional, methodical, and carefully calculated. In a world that celebrates conformity, it's easy to feel discouraged when your thinking doesn't align with the majority. But the most impactful ideas, movements, and inventions often stem from those who dare to step away from the conventional. There were times when you felt discouraged, when the weight of the journey threatened to break you, but you kept pushing forward. That persistence, that refusal to quit when everything seemed stacked against you, is the key that unlocks the results you're now experiencing. The truth is, success isn't about how quickly you can achieve something. It's about how long you're willing to endure, how determined you are to keep going, and how deeply you believe in the vision you're creating. Now that the results are visible, it's not about bragging or proving anything to anyone. It's about understanding that your success is a reflection of your growth. It's a reflection of your commitment to something greater than yourself. It's a manifestation of the clarity, patience, and persistence you've cultivated along the way. You've not only transformed your external reality, but also your internal world. You've grown stronger, more resilient, and more confident in your abilities. In the end, the turning point in your journey isn't marked by a single event or achievement. It's a culmination of moments of trusting your own intuition, of taking risks, of learning from failure, and of persevering when others doubted you. The shift in perception that others now have of you is simply a reflection of the shift you've had within yourself. You've stopped seeking external validation and instead embraced your own truth and purpose. Now, as the results of your efforts start to show, you realize that the true success was always about the growth you experienced along the way, not just the external outcomes. As you move forward, this newfound clarity and confidence will continue to guide you. The journey is not over, it's just beginning. What you've achieved so far is only the foundation for what's to come. You are now in a position to step fully into your purpose, to embrace the future with confidence, and to continue walking the path that only you can walk. The transformation is complete, and you are now ready to shine. Being misunderstood can often feel like one of the most isolating experiences. However, it is precisely through these moments of being seen in a light that does not align with your truth that personal growth happens. When others fail to understand your vision, your methods, or even your intentions, it can spark a sense of loneliness and doubt. But this very process, being misunderstood, teaches you resilience. It forces you to look inward, to reflect on your core beliefs and values, and to develop an unshakable confidence in yourself. Through these experiences, you learn that your worth is not defined by others' opinions. You start to realize that their failure to see you doesn't diminish your value or the importance of your journey. Instead, it becomes the fertile ground where your resilience grows. You develop a deeper understanding of your purpose and begin to trust in your inner voice regardless of external noise. Every instance of being misunderstood helps you build a stronger, more steadfast sense of self. The key to this personal growth lies in understanding that being misunderstood is not an obstacle, but rather an essential part of the journey toward self-discovery. It's through these moments of isolation that you find clarity about your vision. When you're not distracted by others' perceptions, you're forced to hone in on your own path. And this is where true transformation begins. You learn to trust your instincts, develop emotional intelligence, and build the resilience necessary to stay the course. Eventually, the confusion others once had about you becomes a stepping stone toward greater strength and wisdom. Patience is a virtue often tested when others fail to see your vision. You might be years ahead of where they are, and the timeline for success doesn't always align with their expectations or understanding. It's in these moments of doubt and confusion that the importance of patience becomes clear. Trusting your vision even when others doubt it requires immense strength. Patience is not just about waiting, it's about continuing to move forward even when the results aren't immediately apparent. The world may not see the brilliance you carry within, and the steps toward success may feel slow or unclear, but trusting in your vision when you know in your heart that it will eventually come to fruition is what sets you apart from others. This kind of patience goes beyond mere waiting. It's an active, intentional practice of perseverance. When others don't believe in you or your goals, it can be easy to feel discouraged. But patience allows you to remain grounded in the belief that the right time will come. It teaches you that the seeds you plant today, no matter how small, will grow in time. The challenges you face along the way are simply part of the process, refining your character and building the strength you need to embrace the blessings ahead. There is a profound shift that occurs when others finally acknowledge your brilliance. After years of being misunderstood or overlooked, recognition feels like a breath of fresh air. But more than just validation, this acknowledgement serves as a reflection of your journey. It's a recognition of the persistence, dedication, and patience you've invested over time. The acknowledgement from others, whether in the form of respect, admiration, or even success, becomes the external manifestation of your internal growth. At first, the recognition may seem like a sweet reward, a sign that you have finally arrived. However, the true impact lies not in the external validation, but in the deep, quiet knowing that you have proven your own worth to yourself. The validation from others is a reflection of the self-belief you cultivated long before anyone else saw it. It is not about proving yourself to others, but rather honoring the truth of who you've always been, despite the external doubts. When people finally see your brilliance, it feels like an affirmation of all the hard work, the struggles, and the sacrifices you've made. The recognition becomes the final piece of the puzzle, allowing you to fully step into your power. But it's important to remember that this recognition is not the end of the journey. It's a milestone, but the real reward is in knowing that you persevered despite the challenges, and now you are ready to embrace even greater achievements. Through being misunderstood, trusting your vision, and patiently waiting for the right moment, you have discovered the true power of persistence. Persistence is the force that has carried you through the moments of doubt, the setbacks, and the challenges. It has been the thread that has held your journey together, even when it seemed like everything was falling apart. Persistence is the foundation of success. It is what keeps you going when the path is unclear, and it is the energy that pushes you to continue even when others don't understand. It is the unwavering belief that every setback is temporary and every challenge is an opportunity for growth. The persistence you have shown in staying true to your vision, even when others doubted, is what has brought you to where you are today. When you look back at your journey, you will realize that the key to your success was not a single breakthrough moment, but the consistency with which you followed your path. Every small step, every act of perseverance has led to the recognition and success you now experience. Persistence has allowed you to maintain your focus, align your actions with your vision, and transform challenges into stepping stones. In the end, being misunderstood was not a curse, but a blessing in disguise. It taught you resilience, patience, and the importance of trusting your inner vision. You've grown stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose through each obstacle you've faced. Your persistence has paid off, and now you stand on the threshold of even greater success. The recognition you now receive is a reflection of the work you've done, the growth you've experienced, and the resilience you've cultivated. It is a testament to your unwavering belief in your vision and your ability to stay true to yourself despite the challenges. You have proven that persistence, faith, and patience are the keys to unlocking your true potential. As you move forward, and remember that the journey is never over. The recognition you've earned is only the beginning of a new chapter. Continue to trust in your vision, embrace your purpose, and let your persistence guide you toward even greater achievements. You've already proven that nothing can stop you once you decide to move forward with unwavering determination. Reflecting on the journey of transformation, it becomes clear that what was once perceived as madness was in fact a carefully calculated strategy. The path you've walked, filled with challenges and moments of doubt, has led you to a place of respect and success. What others saw as confusion or rashness was a brilliant plan unfolding in divine timing. In moments of uncertainty, you trusted your vision moving with purpose, while others doubted or misunderstood. Now, standing at the culmination of your journey, you see the wisdom in those early decisions, the moments when you took steps that seemed unconventional, but were necessary to achieve what you now have. The madness was nothing more than your intuition guiding you as you followed a path that was uniquely yours, one that others could not comprehend because they did not have the vision you carried. With each step, you moved closer to aligning with your true purpose, even when no one else could see it. The respect and success you've achieved are the fruits of that alignment, a testament to the quiet strength of your strategy. One of the hardest parts of this journey has been the misunderstanding from others. At times it felt as though you were walking alone, misunderstood by those who couldn't see the depth of your vision. But in hindsight, those moments of being misunderstood were essential to your growth. You learned to embrace the discomfort of being seen and as different, and you realized that being misunderstood was not something to fear, but something to value. In fact, the process of growth itself often involves being misunderstood by those who are not yet ready to see your potential. Embracing this challenge allowed you to develop resilience, patience, and self-awareness. You learned that your journey was about trusting yourself, even when others couldn't see the end result. You've grown into a person who values the process of becoming, understanding that transformation takes time. And sometimes the world simply needs time to catch up with your vision. As you move forward, it's important to remember that your brilliance is often misunderstood before it's recognized. Many of the greatest minds in history were initially seen as outliers, misunderstood, or even ridiculed, only to be celebrated for their vision. In the end, you are no different. Your vision, your strategy, and your path were all part of something greater than anyone could have predicted. So trust in your vision and continue to walk the path laid before you. Know that the road less traveled is not for the faint of heart, but for those destined for greatness. The world may not always understand your choices, but that does not diminish their value or importance. Trust in yourself, stay aligned with your purpose, and continue to rise. Your time to shine is now, and the brilliance of your journey will soon be clear for all to see. As you continue to move forward, remember that the path you've chosen is yours alone. Trusting in your vision means staying true to what you know deep within, even when it challenges the status quo or makes others uncomfortable. The world is full of noise and distractions, but your purpose and vision will always guide you if you stay grounded in your truth. The moments of doubt, rejection, and misunderstanding are not signs of failure. They are the tests that build your strength and shape your character. These challenges are the crucibles in which your brilliance is forged, allowing you to rise stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever. In the end, your madness will be seen for what it truly is: the courage to stand in your own truth, to create your own path, and to pursue greatness with unwavering faith. The world may not recognize it now, but it will eventually catch up, and when it does, your brilliance will shine brighter than ever before. Keep moving forward with confidence, and know that you are exactly where you are meant to be. While others were playing it safe, following the crowd, and staying within the lines, you were paving the way for something different, something that had never been done before. Your madness was simply the courage to break free from the constraints of what was expected and follow the call of your own intuition, your own wisdom, your own purpose. The moment when the madness is finally recognized as brilliance. What is often considered madness in the present often becomes brilliant in hindsight. This shift doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't always come without a struggle. But there comes a point when everything you've worked for, every unconventional decision you've made, every leap of faith you've taken becomes undeniable. It's in this moment when the world sees the results of your unique approach that your madness is finally recognized for what it truly is: brilliance. Time has a funny way of revealing truth. What may have seemed reckless or illogical in the moment becomes clear and sensible as circumstances unfold. The very qualities that others once saw as erratic or unpredictable become the building blocks of a new reality, one that was created by your innovation. Those who once questioned or even ridiculed your approach now begin to realize that you are ahead of your time. They begin to see the brilliance in your thinking, and suddenly your madness is not so mad after all. Your vision was always aligned with a greater purpose, even when others couldn't see it. The courage to trust your instincts and move forward in spite of doubt is what eventually leads to success. In time, you'll find that what was once misunderstood is now celebrated. People will recognize that your unique approach was not a mistake, but a crucial step in creating something extraordinary. What was once perceived as an unpredictable leap is now seen as the path that led to groundbreaking progress. It's in these moments of recognition that you realize the true power of your journey. Your ability to remain true to your vision, despite the noise, despite the judgments, and despite the uncertainty, is what has set you apart. Your madness was never madness. It was the clarity of purpose, the courage of conviction, and the resilience to stay the course. And now, in this moment, the world is waking up to that truth. As you stand in the reality of your success, you come to understand that the path you walked, the one that seemed so uncertain at the time, was the only one that would lead you to where you are now. Every struggle, every misstep, every moment of doubt was part of the process that prepared you for this moment of recognition. You've transformed what others saw as madness into a powerful manifestation of your true potential. Your journey wasn't just about achieving success. It was about proving to yourself and to the world that your vision was worth pursuing. Now that your brilliance is recognized, the world will begin to celebrate the very things they once feared. They'll see that your ability to think differently, to break away from the norm, was never a flaw, it was a gift. Your journey, once marked by misunderstanding and doubt, is now a testament to the power of thinking outside the box, of trusting your inner guidance, and of staying true to your purpose. As the world acknowledges your brilliance, you can look back with gratitude and pride, knowing that you didn't just follow the predictable path. You forged your own way, and in doing so, you've created something that will have a lasting impact. Your madness was never madness. It was the wisdom of a visionary, the strength of a trailblazer, and the courage of someone who knew that the world didn't need more of the same. It needed something different. In the end, the truth is clear. Your madness wasn't madness at all. It was brilliance, waiting to be recognized. And now, as the world sees the results of your journey, they'll finally understand the power of thinking beyond the conventional. And you will stand tall, knowing that the very thing that sets you apart is the thing that will define your legacy. When you first started to walk your path, many around you couldn't understand why you were making the choices you were. The actions you took were seen as reckless, unwise, or even irrational by those who hadn't yet caught up to your way of thinking. They looked at you as if you were out of touch with reality or headed for failure. Whether it was pursuing a dream that others saw as impossible, taking a risk that others deemed too great, or choosing a path that seemed too different till they watched with skepticism and perhaps even ridicule. These judgments weren't rooted in malice, but in fear of the unknown, and fear of the unconventional. People tend to place those who think and act outside the societal norms into a box. They understand labeling them with terms like crazy or delusional when their vision doesn't match the common perception of reality. The comfort zone of conventionality made it difficult for others to see the value in what you were doing, even if you could sense its potential. But the fact remains that in the early stages of any groundbreaking venture, the trailblazers are often misunderstood. While those around you judged your actions, they couldn't see the deeper layers, the strategy, the vision, and the eventual brilliance that would emerge. In those moments of misunderstanding, you were not erratic, but bold. You weren't making a mistake. You were planting the seeds of something that in time would become undeniable. The challenge of being a visionary thinker is that by definition, you are ahead of the curve. You can see possibilities that others cannot, and you have the courage to act on them even when the path is unclear. The cost of being a visionary is that it often requires you to endure skepticism, doubt, and criticism. While others might wait for the proof, you must take the risk without guarantees. You sacrifice certainty and comfort for the chance to create something new. Your ability to see beyond the present moment often means you're walking in a space that has not yet been validated. The world around you is not ready for the changes you want to make, so your actions often appear to be out of step with current trends, logic, or practicality. The ideas you pursue may seem too abstract or too ambitious to others who prefer to stick with what they know. The emotional toll can be heavy as you're forced to wrestle with not only the external judgment of others, but also the internal conflict of questioning whether your vision will truly manifest. However, despite the challenges and the price of visionary thinking, your commitment to your vision never wavers. While the external world may not have understood, you knew deep down that what you were doing was necessary. The world's validation didn't matter. What mattered was the clarity you had about your purpose and the belief you had that your work would eventually speak for itself. At its core, the term madness can be redefined as simply a misinterpretation of unconventional thought. When society doesn't understand something, it tends to label it as crazy, irrational, or out of touch. But what if, instead of madness, we saw it as a form of strategic brilliance? A vision that doesn't fit the conventional mold often looks like madness, especially in its infancy, but over time, its brilliance becomes undeniable. The ability to see the potential in something that hasn't yet materialized takes immense foresight and courage. Often, those who are viewed as mad are simply those who have dared to challenge the accepted norms and venture into uncharted territory. This willingness to step into the unknown requires resilience, confidence, and an unshakable belief that the path you're walking will eventually reveal its value. When viewed from this lens, madness becomes less about erratic behavior and more about the strength to pursue something that defies conventional wisdom. True madness is actually the audacity to challenge the status quo, the willingness to believe in something greater than what is immediately visible. It is the ability to hold onto a vision, even when no one else sees its value, to push forward when everything around you seems uncertain. Visionary thinkers inventors and trailblazers throughout history were often considered mad or delusional in their time. Think about how the likes of Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, and Marie Curie were ridiculed for their ideas before they were recognized for their genius. It's only with the passing of time and the subsequent validation of their ideas that their madness was understood as brilliance. In your own journey, what was once dismissed as irrational or reckless is now beginning to take shape. The path you've walked, though riddled with uncertainty and doubt, is now leading to something far greater than you could have ever imagined. You are learning that your so-called madness is not an obstacle. It is the foundation upon which your future is being built. The world's misunderstanding of your actions no longer matters. The truth is, you have always been playing the long game, one that others couldn't yet see. You knew that the sacrifices you made, the risks you took, and the decisions you made from the heart were laying the groundwork for the brilliance that is now unfolding. And now, as the fruits of your labor begin to ripen, others are starting to understand that what once seemed impossible or insane is actually a sign of true genius. Your transformation from someone misunderstood to someone admired is not just about proving others wrong. It's about proving to yourself that your vision was always worth pursuing. You can now stand with confidence, knowing that your so-called madness was simply the first step in your journey to greatness. In conclusion, the path of a visionary is never easy, but it is the only path that leads to true transformation. The madness that others see in you is simply the brilliance of your thinking, a brilliance that will continue to unfold as you walk in alignment with your purpose. And as you continue on your journey, remember that the world's recognition will come not because you sought it, but because your truth will shine through and illuminate the way for others. There comes a moment in every transformative journey when others begin to recognize the value and purpose behind your actions. It's often a quiet shift that happens over time, a gradual unveiling of the vision that only you saw in its entirety. Until that moment, your steps may have been met with skepticism, doubt, and even ridicule. Your unconventional methods and unorthodox approaches were dismissed as risky, impractical, or even foolish. But as time passes and your actions begin to produce results, the narrative changes. The turning point is when the fruits of your labor start to bloom, and those who once questioned your decisions are forced to take notice. It's the moment when they can no longer deny the truth of your efforts. What once seemed chaotic or misguided is now seen for what it truly was, a deliberate, calculated strategy that was always headed toward success. The very qualities that made you a target of ridicule, your resilience, your faith in the unseen, your ability to persist despite the odds, are now seen as the strengths that drove you to where you are. At this juncture, you become aware of a profound shift. The world, once so quick to judge, is now starting to understand. And though this may not have been the recognition you sought initially, it is a powerful validation of the path you've walked. You realize that your persistence was the key ingredient to your success, and others' perspectives are changing as a result. The turning point is not just about gaining respect. It's about proving to yourself that your decisions and actions were never misguided, even when the outcome was not immediately clear. When you look back on the journey, you notice the most striking change, the transformation of perception. The individuals who once doubted you, who once laughed at your ideas or questioned your methods, now view you differently. The shift in their mindset isn't immediate, nor is it necessarily loud. It happens gradually, like a subtle unfolding of the petals of a flower. At first, it's an acknowledgement in their eyes, a slight change in tone when they speak to you, or a newfound curiosity about your process. Slowly but surely, their skepticism gives way to respect. This transformation of perception is not just about the visible results you've achieved, but also about the quiet confidence you've cultivated in the process. It's the culmination of your faith in your vision, your patience through uncertainty, and your unwavering commitment to your path. People begin to recognize the quiet strength that carried you through, and their respect for your journey deepens. What's most profound about this shift is that it is not driven by any need for external validation. You've already learned to trust your own inner compass, to believe in your purpose even when others doubted you. The change in perception comes naturally as a byproduct of the truth you've been living, an authenticity that cannot be ignored. The results speak for themselves, but more than that, your unshakable belief in your vision has transformed the way others perceive you. They see the power in your actions, the clarity in your decisions, and the consistency in your efforts. They begin to recognize that your success is not a stroke of luck, but the result of a carefully executed strategy. The moment of clarity arrives when you fully realize that patience, time, and persistence have allowed your strategy to shine. This realization isn't about validation from others. It's an inner acknowledgement of how far you've come and how much you've grown. You begin to see that the seeds you planted long ago are now sprouting into something tangible. The effort you put in, often without any immediate reward or recognition, has finally yielded results. Patience is the cornerstone of this realization. You've had to trust that everything you were doing, no matter how insignificant it seemed at the time, was moving you closer to your goal. It was never about immediate gratification, but about building something sustainable and meaningful over time. This recognition of the value of patience is an important turning point in your own personal development. You understand that success isn't always about a quick win, but about a long-term commitment to a vision regardless of how long it takes to see the results. Time, too, plays an essential role in the unfolding of your strategy. As the months, or you and say years pass, the dots begin to connect in ways you couldn't have anticipated. What seemed like small disconnected steps are now part of a bigger picture. The lessons you've learned along the way, the experiences you've had, and the challenges you've overcome all converge to form the success story you are now living. You realize that each moment of struggle, each time you were tempted to give up, was part of the process of growth and evolution. And then there's the persistence, the unwavering drive that kept you going, even when the end goal seemed out of reach.